You gotta get this song out of the way when talking about Journey. An American rock band that was formed in 1973 by former members to act like Santana and the Steve Miller Band. By 1981, their 7th album, Escape, was a monster on the charts. It secured the band's first top 10 hits, one of which being the album opener and incredibly successful Don't Stop Believin'. Don't Stop Believin'! While initially peaking low in the top 10 compared to their first and third singles, by itself it has sold over 7 million copies in the United States, mostly by digital sales. The album, meanwhile, became the band's most successful, being issued Diamond Record status in July 2021, having sold over 10 million copies since its release. Coupled with the positive reception from fans and critics, this was Journey at the height of their careers.
And now they've added the first rock video game, in which members of the band dodge electronic groupies, shady promoters, and paparazzi to escape after a concert.
And as such, their follow-up album would have great expectations for it. 2 years later, Frontiers was released, and with it came their first single. One that ends up having a music video arguably being more well-known. It's once again music video time, and we have a lot to cover here. We are looking at Separate Ways, Worlds Apart by Journey, and the production history of one of the worst music videos of all time.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
So by sheer coincidence, the day after Escape was released, MTV was launched onto television. And with the channel's inception, music videos were becoming a necessity for a song to be successful. Wheel in the sky keeps on turning. Now, Journey had made music videos to their songs before the launch of MTV, starting all the way back in 1978, though none of their videos at that point were shown on the first night. Anyways, their initial videos were live performances during their concerts. Basic videos, but got the job done. It wasn't until Separate Ways that they created their first ever concept video. The reasoning behind this decision was due to their label, Columbia Records, wanting the band to be more than just a concert act. Specifically, they wanted to let fans see what the band looked like, have a face to this faceless entity. And that is a rather good idea. Though you can see the members of Journey in the other videos, you see them in not the best lighting. Rather sweaty due to their performance, and usually the camera is not exactly zoomed into their faces to let you get a good look at them on your CRT. So making a proper music video would be perfect for the band. Show them how hard they rock and roll. Show how awesome they look. Show how kick-ass they can be. Unfortunately, this video ends up making them look like clowns. The problems are clear as day. You can clearly see the issues. Right there! And there!
And then this guy. Just look at him. Yeah. What a dork.
It's such a ridiculous music video that you would think they did this all as a joke, as a response to the idea of wanting to make a video. But no, every ounce of this video was made in earnest. Band members have gone on record to say they did not make it crazy on purpose. Every part of this video was made straight-faced. From the odd shooting location at a wharf, to the clashing wardrobes each member adorns, to a random woman who walks around said wharf. And of course the most infamous aspect of the video, the invisible instruments. You are immediately shown that at the start of the video, and it sticks with you throughout. What happened here that culminated in what some have argued to be the worst music video of all time? To begin, the members of Journey did not want to do a concept video, lead singer Steve Perry especially. He thought that he and the other members were entertainers, but not actors. Keyboardist Jonathan Cain, meanwhile, described the band as not being photogenic for a video. But with the increasing popularity of MTV, it became inevitable that they needed to make a proper music video. Not that Journey had the choice to say no anyways. Their record label knew they needed to invest in the band's image by making proper videos and not just use concert footage. To get this in motion, Columbia invested $100,000 to have the next music video be made and distributed to not only MTV, but also HBO's Video Jukebox and hundreds of other syndicated music video channels. The band's management also shelled out $30,000, finalizing the budget to be $130,000. And with that, the creation of Separate Ways, Worlds Apart properly began. The music video was shot in New Orleans on the Louisiana Street Wharf. The reasoning behind that, the producer, John Diaz, wanted to shoot in the city and was suggested to use the wharf as it provided a long expanse of colors. The director of Separate Ways was Tom Buchholz. He had previously directed multiple commercials for different brands from Burger King, Crisco, Popeyes, and worked production on Saturday Night Live. And for anyone thinking this video was not entirely planned out due to how ridiculous the final product is, in actuality, storyboards were made, detailing camera movements for the shoot. Debbie Newman, the director of artist development and video for Columbia Records, had 56 camera movements in mind for Separate Ways. Sounds pretty ambitious for a music video. That being said, Newman set up a forewarning to Diaz and art director Jessica Scott. The band is going to put you through hell. They're going to have a million questions. They've never dealt with anything like this before. As this was their first concept video, questions were had. One of these questions from Steve Perry came from anger. During one lyric of the song, this was supposed to be juxtaposed with a shot of a woman getting a stone out of her shoe. This caused Perry to raise the question, what's that got to do with surviving the tide?
Get the hell out of here, alright?
Even when Diaz tried to reassure Perry about the shoot, Perry gave her a skeptical response that added more forewarning to what was to come. I've got to get my licks in now because when it comes to editing, I'm not going to be there. Are we going to make something timeless, or are we going to make something typical? He was certainly right about the timeless part. Going into research on this video, I didn't expect much about its production. But as it turned out, when production started, issues began appearing for the cast and crew. When the band first appeared on the first day's shoot, while performing near a condemned blue warehouse, strong gusts of winds produced by the Mississippi River caused an inconvenience to the sleeveless Steve Perry, as he would retreat to his warm Winnebago RV. Bizarrely, another setback to production was a British ship fresh from the Falkland Islands being docked on the wharf. Not only did the docking interrupt the shoot from their naval band playing, the soldiers also shouted for the band, "Journey! Journey!" thinking they were there to welcome them. At the same time the video was being shot, the New Orleans celebration Mardi Gras was happening on the streets of the Big Easy. So at the end of night one, the band went out drinking all through the night, returning for the second day's shoot late and incredibly confused. And it's during this second day that the cold weather was getting to the members, to the point that Perry, who was actually singing the song rather than lip-syncing, catches a cold. And credit to him for continuing on despite becoming ill. But the biggest obstacle Perry himself had to circumvent wasn't strong winds, or Mardi Gras, or sickness, or even the British Navy. It was his girlfriend at the time, Sherry Swafford. Now, she wasn't the woman walking around throughout the video. That was Margaret Olsted. A local to New Orleans, Olsted was a college student that needed money and agreed to appear on the shoot for 3 days, while being paid $250 per day. A pretty good deal on face value, but Swafford was raising hell because of Olsted's presence. As Jonathan Kane said in a HuffPost interview, here's a funny story. When we were going through the actual storyboards, Steve Perry was there, and he wasn't down with it. And his girlfriend Sherry was not down with it. And there was this whole thing about, you're going to have a slut in your video?
Something's wrong, I can feel it.
Kane expands upon this more in the book I Want My MTV, and it reads as follows. Sherry was jealous and possessive, and when she found out that there was going to be a girl in the video, oh my god, there was a big kicking and screaming session. Sherry was giving Steve a very bad time about that girl. She's a whore. She's a bitch. I don't want her in the video. Thankfully, Olsted was oblivious to Swafford's contempt for her, and Swafford eventually got Perry to make a song for her.
Knowing how I made you feel, and I should have been gone. Oh, Sherry.
With 1984's Oh Sherry reaching number 3 on the Hot 100, and is Perry's most successful single in his solo career. When it came to quality control, there wasn't any. Columbia had only sent one person from the label to supervise the video. Wouldn't say they did a good job. And with the lack of supervision for the production, there were a lot of on-the-fly ideas, with the members of Journey being open to anything they were given. So for a video that was storyboarded, it ended up being largely improvised. So that does explain a bunch of the eccentric moments throughout. The keyboard on the wall moment in particular is a creative decision Buchholz holds himself accountable to. In fact, Buchholz conceded that the open suggestion strategy to not be a good idea in general. And the real icing on the cake for this video is its ending. All the wackiness seen in the video, from the air instruments, the nonchalant woman, the keyboard on the wall, smacking the camera while they're performing. Seriously, did they not get a second take for that? They all culminate in the fact that this video was all a dream.
It was all a dream!
The woman is asleep with her Walkman on, more than likely listening to Separate Ways. I think I get the intent here, but at the same time I don't, because she's dreaming of Journey singing to her, but she's seen walking away from them. Why? There are just too many odd decisions in this video. What possibly made things more strenuous for Journey and the crew was the fact that this wasn't their only video that week.
Straight from my heart.
For 1 week, Journey made 3 music videos: Separate Ways, After the Fall, and Chain Reaction. Chain Reaction, by the way, wasn't a single off Frontiers, but they made a video for it anyway. While Separate Ways was shot during the daytime, the other 2 videos were shot at night and in a studio located in New Orleans' lower 9th Ward. As such, they had to shoot 16 hours a day and had to get the cast and crew moving back and forth during the Mardi Gras festival. An absolutely exhausting task, but nonetheless was accomplished, with Buchholz earning $15,000 for his directing. Speaking of the budget, remember when I said that Columbia and Journey's management shelled out $130,000 to make and distribute the video? How much do you think actually went into Separate Ways? While there is no clear answer, lead guitarist Neil Schon, in a HuffPost interview, recalls that the budget was $5,000. Schon also said that combined all three video budgets were $10,000. That low of a budget does explain why Chain Reaction and After the Fall had the same shooting location, but it's still a far cry from the money being pulled here, especially if the director made $15,000 for the shoots. But I would assume they had other factors at play, such as needing to make video copies to distribute to hundreds and hundreds of syndicated channels. And boy, did this video make it to those stations.
MTV in 1982, and the list keeps growing in 1983. MTV, where it happens first.
When it first landed onto television as an MTV premiere, it received heavy rotation on the channel. While awarding big exposure for the group, the reception to the video was bad. Really bad. Adam Dubin, best known for co-directing the Beastie Boys' Fight for Your Right to Party, was very vocal about his contempt for the video in the book I Want My MTV. Here's a band at their commercial peak, and some idiot decided to film them on a wharf. And, here's the worst part, instead of giving them instruments, let them mime playing imaginary instruments. The director should be shot, and the manager should be shot for allowing his band to be put in this position.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Debbie Newman also hated this video, saying, "The video was terrible. I mean, truly terrible. MTV played it constantly." Jonathan Cain, meanwhile, said that he would never live down the air keyboards, adding that he knows for the rest of his life people would be asking him about the video. But what I think is the biggest contribution to the legacy Separate Ways gets now is an appearance on MTV's Beavis and Butthead.
Whoa. Is this the Partridge Family?
The Mike Judge classic had the two titular characters riffing the video to the point of being speechless. This segment perfectly encapsulated how bizarre the video is and a focal perspective of audience members watching it.
This video, like if it was a turd, it would be the same thing. Yeah.
This also caused Cain to call up Journey's manager, asking for a way for MTV to not re-air this segment. Perry, meanwhile, was more positive about the Beavis and Butthead appearance, gracefully telling Entertainment Weekly in 1994, "You gotta love it! We'll be immortalized forever now." So did the video affect the song in any way? I say no. The song peaked at number 8 on the Hot 100 and still gets played on classic rock radio. And while it doesn't hold a candle to Escape, Frontiers was still a huge success for Journey, being certified 6 times platinum in the US. It's just a shame that the video made for Separate Ways in some ways overshadows the song, because the song itself is good. Really good. The instrumentals are great. Too bad they aren't shown playing them at times, and Perry's singing is on point.
Promises we made were in vain, in vain.
But the problem is its association with a video so goofy, it can't be taken seriously. Especially since this song is about a breakup.
If he ever hurt you, true love won't desert you.
And yes, the video does infer that the concept could be about a girl avoiding Steve Perry because of their breakup. But she's so superfluous to the video that taking her out wouldn't change a thing. But keeping her and continuously ignoring the members of Journey adds on to the unintentional humor the video garners. And it's because of said unintentional humor, that is what saves the video. If there's anything positive to say about the video itself, it's that it spawned a lot of fun parodies. One of note was made by the YouTube channel Raising Heller, made by the entire family during the quarantine lockdown of 2020. That parody was later shown on CBS and covered on publications like USA Today. Another parody I found was from 2008. That won second place at the Brigham Young University of Ohio's Film Festival. There have been so many parodies to this video, it's really impressive how much mileage this has gotten over the years. And it makes sense. This video is pretty easy to recreate, especially if you don't have any instruments. Even the director is a fan of these parodies, including this one shot during the Iraq War. Sadly, Tom Buchholz got into a traffic accident in 2004, leaving him confined to a wheelchair. I found a documentary of him recounting his life, which briefly mentioned working with Journey.
The big one was Journey, and I turned down Michael Jackson to do Journey. which is, I don't know, pretty stupid at the time.
And considering that this video came out the same year as Thriller, stupid is an understatement. Tragically, in 2013, he succumbed to his accident, passing away from complications to a spinal cord injury.
The main thing that my creed is very important. It's not what you had, it's what you have left.
After all 3 music videos shot from that fateful week were released to the world, the rest of Journey's music video output in the 80s were once again concert videos.
It's been so long since I seen her face.
I'm guessing that everyone was aware about how poorly received Several Ways was and made sure to never replicate that again. Although they managed to make one more concept music video with Perry in 1996 with When You Love a Woman,
See your world inside her.
it's harmless, but the decision to make their music videos be of concert performances again must have been great for the band. After all, as Steve Perry said, they were performers, not actors. To wrap things up, this video is bad. No doubt about it. But its badness is so fun to watch. It's stupid but charming, and I love it for that. Separate Ways Worlds Apart is definitely a video I would describe to be so bad it's good. And I don't think I ever want a second of it to be changed. So if you ever have a bad movie night and want to do something different before popping in the room for the umpteenth time,
What a story, Mark.
I would definitely recommend showing this video as an opener. It's definitely worlds apart from any other music video. Thanks for your time.